Hello, and welcome back to the Red Dragon Growers, guardians of green, fostering life, health, and harmony. Isn't this a great view? I am so excited to share with you my summer garden. It is growing in so nicely. It's been about 3+ months since my last video, so you are going to see quite a few changes. In the last video, I said I was going to have a plant sale, and actually, instead of having a plant sale, I used those plants in all different places around the yard, and you'll see when I pick up the camera and I take you around. But it has really been a challenging year for me as a gardener, because we've had extreme drought, we've had extreme heat, and keeping up with the watering and the weeds and the nutrients, it has been a lot. Like, I don't want you to think that this is easy. And this has been 8 years in the making as well. But little by little, I added to it, and little by little, I learned more and more about the different plants that I have brought into the yard. A lot of them are medicinal, and I use them for myself to make medicines. And actually, that's what I'm documenting on this channel, is my journey from illness to wellness and transforming pain into purpose. All of these sound like cliches, I know, but they're real, and I've lived it. I've lived this journey, and I've documented it along the way. And I am transforming a passion into purpose as well, because I want to share and inspire, hopefully, my audience that watches my videos to look into what you can do with your backyard. I want to show what's possible. I have about 1/3 of an acre here, and a lot of it actually has concrete, and you'll see that. We have a basketball court in the back, and we have a path that we inherited. Now, we've only been here a little less than 10 years, and I started this garden in 2019. So I believe this is my 8th season gardening here, 7 or 8. I think it's my 8th. Maybe I started in 2018. No, 2019. But I have been documenting it along the way, and I have really enjoyed seeing the changes. So without further ado, let me pick up the camera and give me a minute, because I'm a one-man show right now, doing all this myself, but really enjoying every minute of it. So let me just take a step back to show you what you were looking at here. This is one of 4 trellises that I have so far. And growing on it over here is butternut squash. Actually, you can see one right there. And they are vigorous growers, as you can see. And then I've got a volunteer sunflower there. I put okra right there because I just love watching the okra plant grow. Don't necessarily like eating the okra, but I love the plant. And of course, zinnias and cosmos are my favorite. Larkspur is still blooming, which is very surprising. But I've also just added some lights here. They're solar lights, and they look so nice when they're lit up. And this over here is what I call the solar garden. And we sit here at midday and we get some vitamin D, me and my family. All right, let's come around here. This is the back gate entrance. And my husband builds these trellises, and we've got that supported up there because they are really hard to put in the ground, so you do have to support them. But you can see here, I've got a castor. I've got a bunch of different things in here. And this is supposed to be a clematis, and it's got a flower. I don't know if that really looks like a clematis. So, but my husband bought it for me, and it was labeled as a clematis, and I'm wondering if it's something else. I don't know, I gotta wait till it flowers more. And then in here, I just threw this in here just to see what would happen to be something different. And that's a carnival squash, and it's growing pretty good. And I've got I think that's a willow, black willow. And I forget. That's growing in a pot, actually. Can't even see it there. And then right here are my raspberries. Now, I just cut away all of the canes that produced in the spring because they were dead and they're not going to produce again. And now these are my fall berries coming in. So I love these because they produce 2 times a year. But cutting all this back, I should have protected my arms a little bit better. I got pretty scraped up. All right, so let's move around here. This is a Rose of Sharon, one of my husband's favorites. He actually bought that. Surrounded by some lemon balm. Now the lemon balm is done for the year. The heat beat that up as well as the chamomile. Things just fizzled out quickly because I guess so much heat. And okay, so I was over here talking about the heat, and then all of a sudden my phone shut off because the temperature was too high. So I'm gonna splice these videos together using a program, and I don't normally do that. I usually like to make my videos in one take, but I'm gonna go with the flow on this. So here's my greens bed, and normally I don't have greens this time of year, but these are still doing good. So I trimmed them all up, and I'm letting the cantaloupe weave its way underneath, and I have 2 cantaloupe plants here with a bunch of cantaloupes. Over there is my basil bed along with edamame behind it, and I'm in the process of weeding that out. And I have, let's see, nine different varieties of basil, and I'm going to be making a video very soon with a recipe, like what to do when you have all this basil. So I have to cut all this back. That's one of my projects today, and I'm going to make basil salt out of that. And maybe I'll make another video and show you. And right here is where my edamame is. I've got horseradish right there. What else do we got? This over here is my little bird feeding area, and I just absolutely love watching the birds come and feed. And so far I have recorded 15 different varieties of birds. And right here, of course, my hummingbird feeder, and I've got a couple of them in different spots because I love attracting them as well. So here are trellises 2 and 3, and there's 4 over there. And this is the concrete walkway that we inherited. And so I incorporated that into my garden design, you can see here. And then walking through here, on this side and this side, weaved in here, I've got beans. And I did have tomatoes here, but they didn't do very well. I pulled out most of them, and then I put some more cucumbers in. But I do have cucamelons that just come up every year. I also have passion flower that is what most of this is. Passion flower comes up every year. And on this side I have cucumbers and parsley. Looks like everything is reacting to the extreme heat today. You can see. Now we did just have rain 2 days ago, so maybe everything needs a little more water. But you can see here the cucumbers. And I got lemon cucumber there. I gotta probably pick that. And coming around here, oh well, I can show you what I did with all the plants that I had that were extra. I created this area, and this is like my own little secret garden. And right here I set up my little meditation mat, and back there you can see that line back there. Those are all Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchokes. So they're gonna get nice and tall, and they're gonna look like a sunflower. And then I've got my seating area here. I can also watch the birds. Sometimes I put a chair there, then I can, when this is in the shade in the afternoon, then I can sit there, watch the birds. But I'll take you back here. You can see I created a little path, and then I'm continuing on, and I filled in a lot back here with the plants that I had, and I continue doing that there as well. So I guess I'm not really ready to have a plant sale yet, but maybe in the spring. We'll see. I will keep things posted on my Facebook page. All right, so let's see, what else do we have growing? This is another meditation garden that I have here. We got sunflowers, fennel. I had to replant all of the zucchini that I had in here. And even the zucchini that's in here is not really doing good. And then I have beans around it because the squash vine borers got to my zucchini, as they always do. I haven't figured out a way around that yet. Over here, you'll see much weeding to do, but I've got some corn. And I created this little garden path here. I wanted something unique and special. Well, I mean, you'll see I have paths everywhere. I mean, all the garden is a path, and it is meant to be walked as like a meditative journey through the garden. And there's lots of twists and turns, and oh look, there's a robin, and a lot of, you know, unique things to see along the way. You can see here's another path, and I'll show you across the way into that bed, but you can see here it's the back side of melons that I have, but got some sunflowers, more basil. Let's see under here, we've got some eggplant, and I got all my tomatoes. Oh, I hear some noise in there. There's something in there. What is in there? Oh, well, we're not going to investigate right now. But here's my blackberry bushes. The birds this year got most of the blackberries, but the blackberries do continue to expand here. I still hear sound over there. I'm going to just walk this way. All right, so here's the entrance to my little garden that I made, like another secret garden. And we got a tomato here. We can take the path this way. We got flowers mixed in with herbs, mixed in with, because this is basil, mixed in with vegetables. This is peppers. So this garden was just fun to do. It was like just extra plants that I had at the time that I got this finished, because cleaning this out was a bear. But you can see here I got cosmos, Indian blanket flower, zinnia, tobacco, smoking tobacco. This is Hopi Indian tobacco. We got a big tomato right there. So we walk through here. Now this is a trap crop. Look at the bugs. They're here and they're not here. Now this is some zucchini that has survived so far. Feel kind of lucky there. I think it is on its way out the door. Like all of these are on their way out the door. But they're still producing. The bugs are getting them. Like the bugs are getting my okra. Look at all the okra. There is a lot of okra all over. I gotta come back here and get it all. And these are all beans. Under here, let's see, I thought I saw some zucchini. There's some zucchini there. And then here I have some more eggplant. And my big castor is right there. And then underneath there, I have an artichoke. So I think I'm going to cut a lot of this away so that I can expose my artichoke, because I keep trying to grow one and it's been a little bit challenging. All right, so I'm going to make my way back out of this garden carefully because the path is tiny. All right, so we'll continue on and I'll show you the beans here. All different kinds of pole beans I got going there, and then bush beans. And on this side, melons. These are called, let's see if I can find one. Well, this is called a tiger melon. And this is a rich sweetness melon. And you can see how this is starting to turn yellow. I'm looking for that sign, as well as the little curly Q, which might have been that, waiting for that to turn brown. I thought there was another one here. There's another one. I thought there was more. There's another one. So they are starting to come ripe. They're from Siberia, and they are supposed to be the sweetest little melons on the planet. And I save those seeds from year to year. They're very easy to save. And you can see here the sunflowers, my trees that I planted. I love them. Whew, it's because it's been a heck of a year with wind as well. But these have survived the wind. The sunflowers there. This is Pepper Paradise 2. You can look back at the last video how I had this started. Okay, so I was over here talking about the tomatoes, and the video cut off again because it got too hot. So I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to get this whole video in. So you can see here I put tomatoes on this trellis, and we got some morning glories that come up every year. And I've got some stones there. I can walk over there, and I've got nasturtium in front of here to bring the pollinators in. It's another trap crop. And then zinnias, cosmos. And then in between here, I also have beans. I don't know if you can really see them. And so if I take a step back, you can see how I've used layering to create a dramatic effect, but also to create interest. You know, I've got vertical growing as well as, you know, growing on the ground. And then over here, I put some more beans in the front, some more beans there. We also have hyacinth beans, that's what this is, that's gonna grow, and the hummingbirds love them. And I noticed in the last video you can spot, which will be what this one continues video, so you'll be able to rewind, but you'll see a hummingbird in one of the last frames, which I noticed when I was reviewing the video. So here is Prep Paradise 1, and I did the layering effect here as well. Now this is a 4 o'clock. It opens up after the sun starts to get lower in the sky, usually after 4 o'clock, but I noticed they open up like around 5:30, 6 o'clock. And here I've got, so that reseeded itself here all over the bed, as well as holy basil, which is right there. And in between all of there, that all the things that I could see that were reseeding, I have peppers. And then in between the peppers, I don't even know if you can see, but I've got beans. So I've got multiple things growing in here. And I do realize, oh, and tomatoes, they just grew. They are volunteers as well. A lot of stuff is volunteers, and I either keep it or I don't. I usually decide when I'm cleaning stuff out. And there is so much stuff growing in here, and it's like really, let me go around here because it's really cool to look at. Oh, before I get there, if my dad is watching my videos, that is your tomato plant that I am trying to bring back to life, and hopefully I'll be successful and it'll look better. That was his Father's Day present. I always give him a tomato to grow, keep him occupied in his retirement years. But I created this area over here for yoga because I love looking at all of this. Like, look at this. So much stuff is growing in here. So we'll see how successful we are with it being crowded in. Now here, I put this cowpea bean in a pot, very large pot from Sam's Club, $15. Look at those pots. I love them. Now they run out real fast every year. But we cut down a tree and we had all these really nice straight pieces. So I'm like, oh, immediately I knew I could do something with them. So I put them in the pot along with the cowpea beans and also some sunflowers. And I also have butterfly pea flower in there as well. So of course, yes, I have a lot of things crowded in there as well. But I don't care. I just want to see what grows. I mean, this is more fun than anything else. And I try not to stress myself out about it. I've learned through the years because not everything works out. And I have also learned that nature is just so abundant. If something doesn't grow back this year, maybe something else will grow back unexpectedly. And I've had so many things like this. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love this. This is wormwood. This is a really good medicine for cleansing parasites, but just the aesthetic beauty of it alone, and that's going to get really, really, really big. Same thing with that lemongrass there. I use that as a pest deterrent, but it's also just beautiful there, I think. And then when the stalks get big enough, I start to harvest that. Here's my little heart garden. I love it. So that put itself there. A lot of things put themselves there, like the carrots. I just let them grow. And this bed was my spring bed, and it's starting to get a little overgrown. I'll be cleaning that stuff out for the fall. And I'll just give you one last twirl around. And before this video ends and gets too hot, let me walk back here. Now, I don't think I did go to every place. Oh, back here you can see there's the elder. We got elderberries. Hopefully I'll get them before the birds do. Oh, some are starting to ripen. I don't know if you can see that. That's very cool. I gotta make sure I get them before the birds do. But I wanted to show you out here. Excuse me. Now this is only 3¼ months since the last video, and I wanna I'm trying to get this up high so you can see. I want to show you the progress out here in just 3.5 months. And plus it's shady, so maybe the camera won't overheat. So you can see there, we have people there, new neighbors have moved in. I'm not sure anyone else has moved in yet, but all the houses along here are done. And I can't tell you how happy I am. So incredibly happy. Because the noise, the disruption, it's all gone. And so now I just wait for my new neighbors, but just give you a little update. Now I'm also documenting over here because we do also seem to have another drainage issue. Right now it looks okay, but in a storm it gets a little filled in there, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. But that's that. All right, so I just thought I would give a little bit of an update on that. My greenhouse here in the shade with the shade cloth because it does get too hot. And here's the basketball court I was talking about. So I don't really have 1/3 of an acre. As you can see, everything is laid out as well as I can, maximizing the space and creating all kinds of cute little nooks and paths and places to sit and rest. All right, so I hope this inspires you. And until the next video, I will see you later. Goodbye.